about helping women with invisible illnesses. I think I might have finally figured it out. I think it just finally kicked on. There's always this weird gap, and it doesn't seem to be the same time interval. That's not what I'm. Hopefully, you get my point. But anyway, my name is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself. And I think I'm talking a million miles a minute. Um, let's talk about fascia. The main reason why I wanted to talk about fascia tonight is I talked about skin brushing last week, and it was um, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a challenging talk. These are home therapies that I used to be really on top of, and I've let them go since I came to Texas 4 months ago, and I really need to get back into the habit. And ever since I talked about skin brushing, I've been excellent about it. So I'm hoping that talking about fascia is going to get me back to working on it. So what the hell is fascia anyway? By the way, this information is from ashleyblackguru.com. Fascia and fascia is really fascinating stuff, at least in my opinion. In fact, one of my doctors told me we were having a conversation several years ago about fascia. And he said, I would love to go back to medical school now that we know so much more about fascia, because when he went to, and he's pretty young, he's a lot younger than I am. But when he was going to medical school, fascia was just something they tried to get out of the way so they could get to the so-called real stuff. And now they're understanding that fascia is the real stuff. So what is it? It's a connective tissue that supports and protects your entire body. It is literally found throughout your whole body. It surrounds your muscles. It's throughout your muscles. It protects your organs, literally everything. When you peel an orange and you get that white, that pithiness, I don't think pithiness is a word, but the white pith. It's going to be a long talk. I'm embarrassing myself. But that white layer that you get under the peel, that's kind of similar to fascia. You have something a lot like that in your body. Okay, so why should you care? Well, because fascia supports your entire I can't. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Musculoskeletal system. Good grief. It's just that kind of day. I'm so sorry. But fascia helps protect your body from trauma. It allows your muscles to glide smoothly across each other. And I remember talking to a different doctor, because I have a lot of doctors, but I was talking to a different doctor several years ago, and I said something about, my fascia feels sticky. And she said, no, that's a good way to look at it. But the reason I told her that is I can sometimes do a forward fold and my hands will be on the floor. And the next day I can barely reach my knees. But if I this probably doesn't make any sense to anybody, but if I just go over, I can't go over very far. But if I go out and then over, I can reach further. And it's because that out kind of stretches the fascia out a little more. And that enables me to get that range of motion. But it allows your muscles to glide smoothly across each other, which of course facilitates your movement. Problem is, fascia can be very temperamental. It can develop adhesions and distortions that cause lots of problems, excuse me, including pain. Well, sure, good grief, distorted and adhesed fascia, it pulls your body into misalignment. Common conditions caused by this include frozen. This is so embarrassing, but it is what it is. It includes frozen shoulder syndrome, plantar fasciitis, and IT band syndrome. I have a ton of problems with my IT bands, which for those of you who don't know, your IT bands are a thick band of fascia or connective tissue, and it runs from like your hip down to your knee right on the outside line of your leg. And mine is so painful all the time. Really tight fascia, it can actually block nerve signals. It can also impact your autonomic nervous system, which is your breathing, your heart rate, your digestion. I have a lot of fascia problems in my gut too, and it does have a huge impact on my digestion. And I also notice I like to dance. I belly dance, and it has a big impact on my gut. I can feel it when I try to do belly rolls. I can really feel it. And I know from one day to the next, I can tell a difference in how angry my fascia is. It impacts our skin. Our skin contains essential proteins. It doesn't contain, good grief. Gosh, damn, this is just embarrassing, but onward as live video. Essential proteins such as elastin and collagen, they can't get to where they need to go in your skin because think of your fascia like a kinked hose. Water doesn't go through a kinked hose very well, right? So the things that you need for your skin to be healthy, they can't get through when your fascia is really adhered and distorted. You got cellulite, you got fascia problems. Adhered fascia pulls the skin inward and the fat pushes up through that. That wasn't very good, but the skin's pulling down, the fat pushes up, and that's what gives you that unsightly dimpled appearance. What causes the adhesions and distortions? It can be anything. Fascia is very protective. The adhesions are an attempt to protect you from micro traumas. And of course, micro traumas, obviously being a micro, they happen all the time. How you sit, how you stand, how you walk, that all impacts your fascia. If you stumble, that can impact your fascia. Stub your toe, you've impacted your fascia. In my case, old injuries that didn't heal properly can cause adhesions and distortions. Now, because I'm just kind of a train wreck, I have widespread fascia problems. But the best that my doctor and I can figure at this point, it all started, I broke my shoulder many, many years ago, well over 10 years ago. But there's a ton of scar tissue. I broke the ball of the ball and socket joint, and there's a bunch of scar tissue in that joint now, and that means there's a lot of fascia problems. And I used to beg doctors, please send me to get an MRI. There's something wrong with my shoulder. Well, now I know it's a fascia problem, and it has spread throughout my whole body because this was out and it kept pulling on all the rest of it. Now it's pulled literally all the way down into my feet because I'm an overachiever in all the wrong areas. But the good news is this is a fixable situation. Restoring fascia is possible. It is not easy, but it is possible. First of all, you got to watch your nutrition. Quit eating crap. All the processed food, all the sugars, all the glutens. I can't remember who told me this, but I really like this about gluten. They said, think about it like glue. It's right there in the name. And I know technically it's not right there in the name, but that's how I remember gluten. And I know when I eat a lot of gluten, I freaking love fresh bread. But if I eat a lot of gluten, I can feel my fascia get tighter. Hydration. Hydration is so important. That impacts your fascia from a cellular level, your posture. Biomechanics are so important, especially the older you get, the more important it is. Which, side note, years ago, I saw a poster around my hometown. And it was this very attractive young lady. But her posture, her shoulders were hunched forward. And I could tell it was because she's on her phone. You could just tell instantly. She didn't have a phone in her hand in the picture, but you could about see it because the way her posture was. And every time I saw that poster, and I used to see it everywhere, I wanted to reach out and just grab her and roll her shoulders back. Posture is so important. Biomechanics are so important. But there's stretching and exercises. Fascia Fix. That was so hard to come up with, wasn't it? Erin Teets on YouTube is really good. I really like her. And I have a love-hate relationship with fascia work. It's painful, but I will tell you, I get a lot more flexibility and a lot more relief when I work on stretching my fascia over just trying to do like yoga. No offense to yoga. Yoga obviously is an an amazing form of exercise. But for my particular situation, the fascia stretching is a lot better. Osteopathic manipulation is a great way to work on your fascia. I will tell you, it hurts like hell. The osteopathic clinic that I used to go to in Alaska, they flat out would tell you, go ahead and scream and cuss all you want to. And they would encourage it because it helps let all that pain out. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and there were many times that I was getting osteopathic manipulation that I saw stars. I would always, every time I would break out into a sweat. I'd start to breathe heavier. A few times I got nauseous, and one time I almost passed out. I really almost passed out from the pain. Or you can get some fascia blasters. Now I have several of these tools. I have a larger one, but because of my particular situation, I like these smaller ones. They're easier for me to hold on to. They're easier for me to manipulate. But these are really cool little tools. And those little claws, when I first looked at this online, I thought these would spin. They don't spin. They're fixed. Now, I don't know what it is about these that works so well. But these are amazing tools for dealing with your fascia. And you just oil your skin up, and you just, wherever you've got fascia problems, you just start rubbing. And this one has these little trigger point pieces, which I love. I like this right at the bottom of my IT bands. I like it at the base of my skull where I have a lot of problems. I like this one too. This one's not as intense, but it's nice and small. It's easy. But I have I didn't bring them to Texas with me, but I have huge ones at home. And I didn't bring them because these are just so much easier for me to handle. But there's cupping, like the Asian medicine cupping. Yes, there's a lot to that. And it was funny, a couple years ago, I had posted something about cupping online, and some guy was like, you need to quit screwing around with that BS and go talk to your doctor. And I really took a lot of pleasure in telling him, you know what? My doctor is the one, my MD is the one who suggested I get cups. But cupping is excellent for your fascia. And again, fascia stretching is all those things are going to make a big difference for you. So give them a try. Look, if you've got a lot of unexplained aches and pains and you can't figure out what the hell is going on, I really recommend you try something to help your fascia. Now, you don't have to run out and buy a bunch of tools, obviously, but go online, go on YouTube and look up Fascia Fix. Call your doctor's office and see about getting into some osteopathic manipulation if you've got insurance. But be prepared. You're going to hate me for the record. You're going to hate me at the moment, but you'll love me after for the recommendation. But crap, I forgot what I was going to say. This has been a hell of a video, so I'm going to just wrap this up right now. I hope you guys have a great night. Look, you have any questions about fascia? I am not an expert, but if you go to ashleyblackguru.com, pretty sure she can answer all your questions because she's the one who makes fascia blasters. She's really knowledgeable. And of course, you can always just Google it. But anyway, y'all have a great night. I will be back Friday at 5 o'clock. No, gosh, damn. At 7 o'clock Central. Oh, it has been quite the day, hasn't it? Y'all